It began simply enough. A man named Cole Hendricks decided to hike the Arizona Trail, a grueling trek through some of the most unforgiving landscapes in America. But Cole had a unique twist. He would walk the entire trail backward. His reasoning: he wanted to experience the trail in reverse to see what others missed. He documented his journey with a GoPro strapped to his chest, capturing the desolate beauty of the desert behind him. At first, the footage was normal, just a harsh landscape stretching behind him, the sun a blazing inferno in the sky. But as the days turned into weeks, a change crept over the footage, a subtle shift in the atmosphere. The silence of the desert, once peaceful, became oppressive, broken only by the crunch of Cole's boots in the sand. Then came the whispers, faint at first, barely audible over the wind, but undeniably there. Whispers that seemed to come from the very air itself, swirling around Cole, like vultures circling their prey. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, and though Cole never turned to face the source, the fear in his eyes, reflected in the GoPro lens, spoke volumes. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows across the dunes, a figure appeared in the distance behind Cole. Tall, gaunt, and shrouded in shadow, it seemed to materialize from the desert itself. The figure never spoke, never made a sound, yet its presence radiated an aura of palpable dread. Night after night, the figure followed, always keeping its distance, a silent, menacing specter in the deepening twilight. Cole's behavior became increasingly erratic. He vanished without a trace, swallowed whole by the very desert he sought to conquer. Randy Jessup was a man of the open road, a long-haul trucker. He spent his days traversing the desolate highways of the American Southwest. His only companions, the rumble of his engine and the crackle of his CB radio. One night, as he navigated the barren expanse of the Nevada desert, a fierce sandstorm descended, engulfing his truck in a blinding swirl of sand and wind. Lost and disoriented, Randy struggled to maintain control of his rig. His CB radio, normally alive with the chatter of fellow truckers, was reduced to static, the storm interfering with the signal. Then through the static, a voice, a woman's voice, smooth and alluring like silk over velvet. "You're lost," the voice purred, caught in the storm, "but don't worry. We can guide you to safety." Randy, desperate for any guidance, clung to the voice like a lifeline. It directed him through the storm, its instructions calm and precise. But there was something off about the voice, an underlying current of something sinister, something that sent chills down Randy's spine, despite the stifling heat inside his truck. The voice led him off the main highway, down a series of increasingly isolated desert roads. As he drove, the storm began to subside, the swirling sand parting to reveal a moonless night, the stars blotted out by an unnatural darkness that seemed to press down from above. The voice on the radio continued, its tone shifting, becoming more demanding, more insistent. It spoke of secrets hidden beneath the desert, of ancient powers and forgotten rituals. It spoke of things that made Randy's blood run cold, but he couldn't bring himself to turn the radio off. It was as if he was being drawn in, pulled towards something terrible and unknown. The voice directed him to a desolate stretch of road, miles from civilization. "Stop here," the voice commanded, its smooth veneer cracking, revealing a chillingly cold edge. "And wait." Randy stopped the truck, his heart pounding in his chest. His truck was found abandoned weeks later, parked on that same desolate stretch of road. The Sahara Desert, a vast ocean of sand, stretching as far as the eye can see. It's a place of extreme beauty and unforgiving harshness, where life clings precariously to existence. It's also a place where the laws of nature seem to bend and break, as Dr. Eloise Martin and her research team would soon discover. Dr. Martin, a renowned ornithologist, had dedicated her life to studying avian behavior. Her latest expedition brought her to the Sahara, drawn by reports of unusual bird sightings, specifically crows. Now, crows are highly adaptable creatures, but the Sahara, with its scorching temperatures and lack of water, was far from their natural habitat. Their presence here defied explanation. The team set up camp near a remote oasis, a splash of green in the seemingly endless sea of sand. The crows were ever present, their black feathers a stark contrast to the blindingly bright landscape. They perched on the edges of the camp, their obsidian eyes watching the researchers with unnerving intelligence. At first, the crows were merely an unsettling presence, their constant observation a source of growing unease among the researchers. But as the days turned into weeks, things took a sinister turn. Equipment began to malfunction, compasses spun wildly, and radios crackled with static. The researchers, seasoned scientists all, couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply, terribly wrong. Then the disappearances began. It started with one of the researchers, a young graduate student named Omar. He vanished without a trace, his sleeping bag empty, his belongings untouched. The team searched frantically, but the desert offered no clues. Omar was simply gone. More disappearances followed. One by one, members of the research team vanished, swallowed whole by the desert. The remaining researchers, their nerves frayed, began to whisper amongst themselves, their fears taking root in the fertile ground of their isolation. They spoke of the crows, their eyes gleaming with an unnatural intelligence, their calls echoing through the night like mocking laughter. Dr. Martin, though shaken, refused to abandon her scientific objectivity. She continued to observe the crows, taking meticulous notes, trying to find a rational explanation for the disappearances. But deep down, a primal fear gnawed at her, whispering that the crows were not what they seemed. One night, under the eerie glow of a blood-red moon, Dr. Martin made a chilling discovery. The crows were gathering, forming a massive swirling vortex above the camp. Their calls, usually harsh and grating, transformed into a haunting melody, a siren song that seemed to seep into her very bones. Dr. Martin, her last vestiges of reason crumbling, watched in horror as the vortex descended, engulfing the camp in a flurry of black feathers and piercing caws. That was the last anyone ever saw of Dr. Martin and her team. Their camp was found abandoned, their equipment scattered, the research notes filled with frantic scribblings about the crows and their unnatural behavior. The crows remained, their numbers seemingly endless, their black eyes watching, always watching. A chilling reminder that in the heart of the Sahara, some secrets are best left buried.